thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'm going to make sure that you guys have the best time.
That every situation that is coming my way is my karmic account, and my power lies in the present moment.
Wherever I went, people were talking about stress management.
Yes.
I don't require a holiday because every day is a holiday.
I feel connected to people everywhere in the world. I haven't once felt I'm meeting someone who's a stranger.
A lot of very interesting women encouraged me to run for office.
I have never felt that there was any difference between me playing a Ganesh stuti on my tabla or going and reciting the Quran.
My reputation was torn to shreds.
She's Hindu, I'm Catholic.
If you want to do something path-breaking, then you have to take the risk.
And obviously I don't talk to people.
Tell us more about that too.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shamim Dahod and Ashraf Dahod as we officially unveil the name of the day.
It's a beautiful day and the weather is just phenomenal, and it's an exciting day for all of us. It's a great pleasure for our family to be part of this dedication ceremony today. Investing in health facility, and in advancement of research for cancer therapies is a priority for us. The opportunity here at home is truly rewarding. In selecting projects to invest, our focus has always been the interest of the patients and the improvement of the quality of care. This is reflected in other projects of ours locally and across the globe. With this as a goal, it was quite easy for us to get involved in the legacy project of Lowell General.
So welcome to Chai with Manju. We have a very special couple with us today. A very caring doctor and a successful entrepreneur whose contributions have definitely made the world a better place for all of us. Let us meet Dr. Shamim Dahod and Ashraf Dahod. Welcome. Welcome to the show. So we are very
Thank you for asking us to be part of your show. Thank you.
Thank you. So every great story starts at the beginning. So we are going to go straight to the beginning of your story. Both of you are from Mumbai in India, and I read that you were high school sweethearts. And you've been married 46 years. So I asked these two questions to people who've been married for a long time. What is the first thing you liked about each other? And what is the secret of a happy marriage? So let's start with the wife.
All right. The first thing I liked about him, that he was very quiet, and he loves to read. He seems very intellectual, and at that time I was the opposite. So that's why the opposite attracted.
And what is the secret of happy marriage?
Compromise.
Really? Okay.
And you have to compromise. Sometimes you have to give, sometimes he has to give. And that's the only way you can move ahead.
Okay. And what about you?
What did I like about her?
Yes. First thing you liked.
Yeah, first thing I like about her, I mean, obviously she was very different than me. I was introverted. She was very extroverted. She was the best friend of my sister.
Oh, okay.
And
plot thickens.
Yes, and so to me it was very intriguing to me.
Okay.
It's somebody who was very different than I was. And at the same time, we enjoyed talking to each other, and we shared a lot of common things, even at a young age, and that was exciting. What is the secret? As I tell my grandson, who always complains that, Nana, you always give in to the woman. So if he has a fight with his sister, he says, you always take my mother's side or my sister's side.
See?
So I told him, I said, if you want to have a happy married life, give in to the women around you.
See? Happy wife, happy life. I hope my husband watches. I liked one thing you said in one of your interviews about you, that you have an analytical mind and she's very intuitive. So I think that is such a nice combination to have. And I have to say that he doesn't, from the time I've been here, he doesn't stop smiling around you. So now, our next step, of course, I'm going to ask you about your journey in the United States. You came to the United States at age 20, right? And you came to Ann Arbor, Michigan. You have 5 extraordinary academic degrees, including one from HBS, right, Harvard Business School. And then instead of pursuing an academic career, you of course chose the entrepreneurship route, developing, producing all the first modem in 1981, and then all these different companies, including Altiostar. So, and then you of course, delighted for me, you're a doctor. You have a degree from BU, and you've been a practicing doctor for a long time. Now, what is the driving force behind your success? You both are so enormously successful in what you've done. So what is the driving force? Let me start with you.
I think in my case, from a business and professional point of view, I like challenges.
Okay.
And so if you look at all of my companies that I've started, I look for businesses that can disrupt their market. That excites me, and obviously once you're successful, the rewards are that you can give to the society. And that's what drives me.
Okay. What is the most exciting thing you've done in your entrepreneurship journey?
I think
so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, if I look at my current business, Altiostar, we are trying to disrupt a huge market. We have brought a solution to the mobile wireless space where there is no US company that has a solution. All of the US companies have been acquired by foreign companies, and today the only suppliers are either European or Chinese. And as our industry goes from 3rd generation to 4th to 5th generation, the mobile solution is becoming very strategic to our lives. Not only for the consumers, but also for the businesses. And I believe, and my team believes, that it's very important for us to have a US solution in this industry. So we are trying to disrupt the market that is huge. Dominated by Ericsson, Nokia, Huawei, and ZTE, and that's exciting.
How do you pick your team?
I think the one key thing I look for, and there is joke for people who have worked for me, is what I call fire in the belly. I mean, I will take somebody who is driven, somebody who wants to be part of a team that wants to make a difference over any degree or any qualification or any experience. Because if you build a team of people who will make a difference, they will move mountains for you. And that, to me, that's more important.
And you still have a big fire in your belly as well, still?
Yes, and that's why I joke around with my team. I say, guys, don't worry, I'm never going to retire.
I read that you're, in your older interviews, that your spiritual leader also was 99 and said can't retire.
Exactly.
Right? And what is the driving force in your life?
I think being a physician, you have to have some empathy and the need to help people when they are vulnerable, when they are sick. And I think that is very important to me, that I reach out to people, help people who cannot do it for themselves, or they don't have resources that they can utilize. So like to provide resources for them and really to educate them how to take care of themselves and give them tools how to take care of themselves. So that's a very important aspect of my profession. And I do have passion in women's health, and especially in breast cancer. And so that drives me in all different directions to take care of that passion of mine.
going back to the story I should have touched before, you have quite a bit of fire in your belly too, because you came to America when you were only 17 years old, all by yourself.
That's
Especially
correct.
at those days.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that too.
I finished my high school or SSC in India, in Bombay, and I packed my bags and I left.
How did your family feel about that?
They were very nervous. They were very nervous that I was
supportive.
Supportive, absolutely, and that I was coming at that age by myself here to further studies, and I always wanted to be a doctor, and so I thought that where else would I get the best education than here? And of course, there was a slight attraction that he was going to be here, kind of thing. That made me push more to come here.
Now, why did you? And you came with only $8 in your pocket, right?
That's right. At that time, they were only allowing us $8 to come in for every exchange of $8, and that $8 took us a long way.
Now, do you still have that excitement and the fire still?
I think I would say that my fire in my belly, as he says, has actually increased. More because I have now more time to pursue my absolute passions, which are helping, uplifting people in terms of education and health, and so those are the two passions we both have, and we try to work as hard as we can on those two topics.
And philanthropy is, of course, a very big part of your life. Not just financially, you also give a lot of gift of time. And just going back to some of the causes that are close to your heart, you've played a big role at the Breast Cancer Center at BU, and you also have a personal story. You're a survivor yourself. So could you share with our viewers, because so many women nowadays, and now of course male breast cancer has also become a big issue. When they go through the disease, they don't know what to do, where to go, where to seek help, and also how to tap into the power within yourself. So share with our viewers some of your story, if you don't mind.
So yes, I have. I've been diagnosed with breast cancer 2 times in my life, and the first time I was only in my 40s, and it was difficult to hear, but my rock was there, and so I went through, and then of course the second time. So that sort of became. And I knew how difficult, being a physician was much easier for me to deal with the complications or whatever it is. And as a layperson, it is very, very scary when they hear the word cancer. Oh my God, tell me anything but don't tell me cancer. So I think it is very important to be there for others, to help them, and that's what I think in my patients also I did that. I used to relieve their concerns and their fear by talking about my own history. And when you are open and discuss this openly, I think it becomes less fearful for other people. And so that's why one of the reasons right now I'm also part of Lowell General Cancer Center, where I go see patients who are newly diagnosed with breast cancer and they're getting chemo treatment, and I go and talk to them. So I think that is so important, to be there for each other and relieve their concerns, that it's doable, it's treatable, it's not the end of the world. And you just have to have that inner strength, and sometimes people don't have it, and you support that inner strength.
And also you have been a big supporter of that women should go get tested, especially those who have family history like you do as well. So share with us, I think that's a good message for women as well, because sometimes in our community, especially in the Indian American community, we don't do our mammography on time or as recommended.
Absolutely. I think the statistics in India and Indian American is very poor in terms of patients following up and doing preventive care, and especially breast cancer. When you have 1 woman in 8 get breast cancer, and 1 in 10 males get breast cancer. So it's a pretty frequent diagnosis patients have. But I think it is more important to do preventive and screening, so you never come to that situation where it's too late or, oh my God, now what am I going to do? And you don't feel overwhelmed about your cancer. So it's more treatable and it's more easily handled by the physicians for you.
Right. And of course, you've been a physician in the Lowell area, and you have the Dahod wing at the Lowell General Hospital. So how did that come about?
We found out that Lowell General wanted to have a new facility. Obviously, when she got associated with Lowell General Hospital, the complex was very different.
Yes.
It obviously needed a significant capital investment to make it more modern. And we felt that it was a good opportunity for us to contribute to the local community. I mean, we are brought up by our spiritual leader to really live in harmony where you live. And you must not only contribute to your family, but you also should contribute to the society where you live. So this was, we felt, was a very good project for us to get involved and help in the community where she was served.
So that's why it was important for me, because this was going to benefit my patients, patients and the community which I was working, and it would make a difference in their lives.
The other thing I would like to mention about her activity, I mean, she feels very passionate about breast cancer, where she has found out that people in India, the women, even when they know they have a cancer, they don't even want to go to a physician or tell their relative.
Yes.
Not even their spouses. Right. So that's one of the things that she tries to do, is to educate lots of women from India. They should face it rather than ignore it.
And talking of India, of course, those of us who visit Mumbai a lot, you're very closely involved with the Sethi Hospital. How did that come about?
So, I mean, Sethi Hospital was a hospital where my grandfather was treated.
Oh, okay.
And then there was a legal issue, and the whole structure was totally abandoned. Okay. And the lawsuit went on for 20 plus years. Okay. So we were visiting there one time, Bombay, and we looked at the dilapidated structure, and 2 of us were just thinking, wouldn't it be great to have this hospital be rebuilt? And amazingly, I mean, within a couple of years after that incident, the lawsuit was resolved and our community decided to build the hospital. That's wonderful. And so that we thought was a great opportunity for us to invest there.
Okay. And you have some ongoing projects as well, so share with our viewers about that as well.
I mean, the project that we believe that is will have a very, very significant social impact is the redevelopment of Dindibaja. It's about 16.5 acres.
Wow.
There are about 280 dilapidated structures.
Oh my goodness.
1,200 businesses, about 30,000 people living there. And if you can picture, 280 buildings in 150 square feet space, there would be 2 or 3 families living there with child and common bathrooms. So we are involved in something called the Sethi Burani Upliftment Trust that is set up by our community, which is a complete non-profit organization that has gone about and purchased all the buildings, except for 22 buildings are left, tearing them down, moving all the tenants to temporary location, and rebuilding the whole infrastructure, where the first 2 towers have already come up, but 600 families will be brought back. And when they come back, previously they were tenants, now they come back as owners. And each flat will be a minimum of 350 square feet. a neat flat with 2 bathrooms in them.
Oh my goodness, that
And they
is
come back
amazing.
as owners.
That is amazing.
And they will have all modern infrastructure with fiber optics in the apartments. It is completely self-sustaining in terms of waste disposal, rain harvesting. So it's a very amazing project. I think the first of its kind taken over by a private organization ever in India.
That is amazing.
And it was also nominated as the first smart city
Really?
By Prime Minister
Modi in India.
That is so incredible. Now, you talk a lot about the community. I think faith plays a very important role in your life, right? You're from Dawoodi Bohra Muslim community with roots in India as well as Yemen. And it's a small community, I think, of about 1 million people with tremendous dedication and towards uplifting others. So share with us, with our viewers, how has faith changed your life and exactly, the role that it plays in your life? Sure.
I mean, faith plays a significant role in our lives. So we are brought up by our spiritual leader to give, as I mentioned earlier, to back to society. And not only just giving to people within our community, but everybody. It has to benefit the whole society. And he also teaches us that when you give with your right hand, your left hand should not even know about it. So we tend to do most of our work as far as possible anonymously. Wherever the organization that is benefiting believes that if we reveal our identity, it would help them. And that's when we do it. Otherwise, we tend to make most of our contribution anonymous. And that really drives us on the philanthropic side, is to look at what is the broadest impact we could have, mostly in education and also in healthcare, and also to some degree in housing. So we are involved in organization that gives interest-free loans for people to be able to buy homes or fund their education.
And I think I think there are two aspects. Anonymous is excellent, of course, but sometimes sharing and the work that you do and the philanthropy, it actually inspires a lot of people, because there's so many people who have the resources but they don't know how to share. But once they read your stories, it like a light goes off. I see that a lot. I said, what about you? Tell us about how faith plays a role.
It's a major part of my inner strength is my faith, and I think that has made me go through the upheavals in my life, in my health, and that gave me the strength to tackle it face on, and knowing that I have that, and it. His Holiness teaches us to be very positive. Always be smiling and be positive. And the positivity is only going to bring more positiveness in your life. So that is one aspect I always try to remember, is to be always, whatever it is, if it is something which is not going right in the way I would have wanted, but then I look for something in that there might be something positive, which I don't see it right now. I don't realize it right now, but it's there, and it's going to eventually emerge. So that's the big part of my spiritual upbringing, is that always be positive and always be thankful and content. Exactly. And because until unless you are content, you will not be happy.
That is so true.
So because you will always want more, because if you're not content, you have to learn contentment.
And also both of us come from families where our grandfather and parents, we are following their example. I mean, they made significant contribution in their times. For example, my parents, I mean, if anybody was sick in our family, even in Mumbai, they would have them come live with us. And he would
by
take
the
care
way,
of
his
them.
father was a physician too.
Right? And even after we moved to the United States, I mean, there are so many friends and family members who lived through our house because of my parents. Because they wanted to have them come here, take care until they moved on in the United States.
Tends to run in families. I was reading that you have 2 daughters,
Yes.
and they are pretty much inclined along the same directions as well.
I hope
right?
so.
So
We're teaching them.
I was reading that your daughter went to Yemen. Was it when she was 14?
Yeah,
or?
my younger daughter, we had gone to Yemen for pilgrimage in 2004, and at that time she was just 13 years old. And then she met some people there who were doing some outreach projects, going to different villages and collecting medical information about those villagers. And so we came home and she says, you know what, I want to go back next year and go and help them. And I said, you're only 14 years old. He says, but no, he promised that he will take good care of me when I go. And so I called him up and I said, you know what, she wants to come, but do you think it's a good idea? And she traveled alone. We didn't travel with her. We said, you know what, that's a good experience for her. So of course
she learned a lot.
She learned a lot, and I did not have nails afterwards for a while, but she learned a lot. It really matured her. She realized that how much walking she had to do, how much walking those villagers had to do to even just get water. And when she came back and said, Mom, they didn't even have electricity. Can you imagine that? They had to live in the candles. I said, yeah, that's how a lot of people in olden days did live. So it really opened up her mind and opened up her exposure to a very different and very, right now I think our children live in a very protective environment. And this was a really eye-opener for her.
They also kicked off a project where we funded solar energy panels into villages so that they can use that to get electricity.
And you have 2 daughters and some grandchildren as well. I saw a
By
lot
the
of
way,
toys.
our older daughter by herself went to Myanmar.
Oh yeah, that was her exposure.
Yeah.
I think the mom started the journey at 17. It's all your fault.
And so that's why whenever I say them to, they're too young, and then they'll just look at me and say, okay, you did it, right? So yeah, she went to Myanmar and collected, again, she also went for medical reasons to collect medical information about housing and medical information of the people there. And bring it back, so how we can help them. And that was her project kind of thing when she went. And yes, we have 4 amazing grandchildren.
So what is it like to be a grandparent?
It's awesome.
My mom used to say, interest on my money.
Or some people say if I knew it was grandparenting was so good, I would have gone directly to straight to being grandparent.
So tell me, what do both of you do for fun? I have to say, one thing really excited me when I read that when you were in India, you read Reader's Digest from cover to cover. And now your story is like that also.
He still
do that.
He still does that.
Reader's Digest or other magazines too?
Everything and Reader's Digest.
So you're an avid reader.
Yeah, I read a lot. But I think as far as my passion right now is really my grandchildren. I mean, I'll do whatever I can to spend time with them. And that is fun because, it's very relaxing. And obviously,
and you don't have to stay up at night
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example about his passion about his grandchildren. He has never missed any of the grandchildren's any school activity or birthdays or anything like that. Once he had to travel, and during his travel time, my granddaughter we were going to celebrate her birthday, my granddaughter's. And so he and I realized that he would have missed it. He will miss my granddaughter's birthday. So what he did basically, he went on his business trip, came back, celebrated the granddaughter's birthday, flew out again to his for his business trip.
Yes, London.
Yeah, in London. So that's his passion.
Yours.
I think my passion also is our grandchildren. Family is very important to me. I would prefer to spend more time with my family than anything else. We both like to travel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to travel? I have to ask you.
We just recently went to the Far East.
Okay.
Traveled in Japan.
Okay.
And we went to Malaysia. And so, I have no favorite kind of thing. I like to go to all the different places, learn about the culture, people, and everything fascinates me whenever I go there. So it's like, oh my God, everybody is so unique, but still the same.
Oh, that is true.
So
we are all same, the core.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very nice, and we like to travel. We would like to travel more. I would like to travel more. If his schedule permits. He travels for work. I want to travel for pleasure. But we try to do it in between. So that's one of the fun things we do is we do travel.
You guys are just so amazing. It was. I have to say, this was one of the most fun yet inspiring interviews I have ever done, and we are so excited that we are privileged, in fact, to honor you. Looking forward to honoring you on November 15th. So we will see you there.